So customer wanted a rock crawler buggy, but he wanted something that was more on the competition level. So as far as parts goes, you know, that's what he wanted. But it's basically used for recreation, but it is a full-blown competition-ready, you know, rock crawler buggy. The 2.4 liter Ecotec was actually used in many different racing applications, and so they sell adapters to bolt to like a Power Glide or, you know, like a GM bell housing. It's 200 horsepower. It's relatively light, so it does have a two-speed Power Glide with an Atlas. 3.8 to 1 gear ratio in the Atlas. 1350 drive shafts, you know. No, everything is single U-joint. We didn't have too many issues with, you know, driveline angles, so it sits relatively low, and so we were able to get away with just a U-joint, you know, setup. So the axles are kind of one of the unique things about this project. So it's a 4 to 9-inch housing. And then we're using Jesse Haynes, who he is a competition rock crawler, has been for years. He has developed a portal setup for the 9-inch axles, and so it's actually an H1 Hummer portal at the hub, and then C's and everything to hook that portal to the 9-inch housing. It is a true 4-link front and rear, triangulated 4-link. We use aluminum for the links, so we machine them, everything here in-house. The joints are Barnes 4-wheel drive Enduro joint. The struts, they're ORI struts. They're kind of like they're an air shock, but there's a lot more to them than that. It's kind of an all-in-one package with an ORI. So you get a shock, and it does what a shock normally does, holds up the weight, but it also acts as a sway bar. So you actually air up the bottom of the shock, and it actually puts preload on the travel, so it acts like a sway bar, so you can adjust that. And then also it's a bump stop, so you can actually bottom the shock out, and you can actually adjust the oil level in the shock to give you different bump heights. And then it's also a limit strap, so you can totally bump it out, and you can totally stretch it out and hold the weight on the shock, and it doesn't hurt the shock. So you're kind of eliminating a lot of parts all in one thing. So the buggy weighs 3,000 pounds. The belly height is 21 inches. The wheelbase is 110-inch wheelbase with a 86-inch track width. So the chassis is all built out of 1.5-inch DOM 120 wall tubing. The buggy is on a set of 40-inch Nitto trail grapplers. It's also running a set of Hutchinson double bead locks, and yeah, we love them. So it is rear steer, front and rear, you know, front and rear steer. PSC rams, PSC pump, PSC valve, all that stuff. It actually does have a return to center function integrated in it, so you can steer it one way and let off, and it'll self-center itself, which is pretty neat. But it is fully hydraulic. It's running PSC's new full billet pump, so it definitely has a lot of power. And the interior has to be functional. We also wanted to keep it lightweight and minimalistic. We only wanted it to be what it needed to be. And so, you know, all the interior panels are all aluminum, and just enough to hold your feet up and to, you know, make it comfortable, and that's it. Those are Corbo seats. Later on in the build, the customer decided that he wanted to have a stereo. He wanted entertainment for the trail. I mean, it is mostly just a recreational rig, so he decided that, you know, he'd like to have stereo. So we built him a custom enclosure and everything, you know, Bluetooth enabled amps and all waterproof, you know. The biggest challenge with building this particular buggy probably is the mid-engine. setup. It changes things a little bit. In getting the rear drive shaft to that rear differential, getting around, you know, those things makes it a little bit more challenging than your conventional setup.